What is up, guys? This is Red Hood 420. I'm here to bring you guys a news video, and a big story broke out. Sony has confirmed about the existence of a PlayStation 5 as well as the specs. I believe yesterday a news story came out about the PlayStation 5 specs. It's going to be like $500, and now, ironically, they announced the specs through a story, and this had to do with The Wired, and they got an exclusive interview with Mark Cerny. But on the screen, you'll see right here, right now, I do have an image of kind of like the Cliff Notes version of what the PlayStation 5 will have, and I got this through Discord, so sorry about the person's tweet if I didn't give you credit. My bad, I just got it from Discord, but this is Cliff Notes version of it, and I did read the Wired story as well. But here we go. So the PlayStation 5 information is detailed right here. The CPU is a 8-core AMD Ryzen base on 7 nanometer or NM Zen 2. I don't know the jargon, so it could be nanometer, it could just be NM. My bad there. But yes, of course, I do realize that this CPU is leaps and bounds better than the Jaguar AMD based CPU that we had, and even better, way better than the PlayStation 4 Pro CPU, which was just overclocked. The GPU is going to have a Radeon Navi based, and yeah, that's like really like the AMD's like new GPUs and stuff like that. It's going to definitely be way better than my GPU, which for my PC, and my GPU for my PC is a 970, so that's a big yikes for me there. And it does have ray tracing. Ray tracing is the future. AMD and Nvidia are very much going hard on this aspect of gaming, and hopefully it's not a requirement because it does bog down the FPS. So there's supports of 8K resolution. I did read from that Wired article. They were talking about 8K resolution. I don't know if that's really going to be feasible, but I do think they're going to try to obtain that. But very much it will, of course, be native 4K. Hopefully it's 4K 60, but I have my doubts. But I do definitely see native 4K for like all titles. And they did announce backwards compatibility, and this is just for the PS4 at least. We did get patents from Mark Cerny regarding, PlayStation 5 and its backwards compatibility, and them trying to use a technique where they can get backwards compatibility for PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. I do think that exists. I just don't think they want to announce it yet, or it's just not ready. And of course, the biggest thing to note is it does support physical media, which means most likely we're going to finally get a 4K Blu-ray player that Sony just, for some apparent reason, didn't put it in the PlayStation 4 Pro. I thought that was the biggest mistake about the PlayStation 4 Pro, and they're actually going to remedy this most likely with the PlayStation 5, and we get to actually trade our games, use games, lend our games to our friends. Very much pro-consumer choice right here, Sony. I very much happy that you're doing that. Now, this is the biggest thing to note, because I was reading this article, and the developers told Mark Cerny when he was talking about the interview that the devs want an SSD. SSD is basically, think about it like this. The Witcher 3 has very long load times, and SSD just shortens your load times, and it's faster. So for this, an example of this was he was talking about Spider-Man Fast Travel, and it was from 15 seconds, which isn't a long load time, but now it's to zero point 0.8 seconds, which is really, really fast. And I'm very much glad for it because, games like Cyberpunk, Last of Us, even God of War, they have very, very long load times just because of how big the games are and how it takes long to, render and stuff like that. And this is really good. But looking at this right now, it could be $500. The leak was saying yesterday that this system is going to be $500. They haven't confirmed this in the article. We can just assume it's possible that it is going to be $500. but the system isn't coming out this year, so we have to note that. So parts will be cheaper next year, which most likely it's going to come out next year. So maybe they have time to, get the parts cheaper and end up being $400 next year. I do have this feeling it is going to come out in March of 2020, around that springtime, just like the Nintendo Switch launched, because they just saw how successful that system was, and hopefully they do that because they're going to see, a big surge in sales and holiday sales as well. But I do think we're going to get the PlayStation 5 official announcement to show off the system. I do think we're going to get it around PlayStation Experience. They haven't announced PlayStation Experience. They usually announce the PlayStation Experience around E3 time, so they might do that. If not, who knows? Maybe it will come out in November of 2020 and they do a spring announcement of what the PlayStation 5 is going to look, as well as the specs. But overall, this is very, very good news for Sony, for them going out and not just letting the rumors and leaks keep, spreading. They just wanted to set the record straight, and having Mark Cerny do this. And I just think Mark Cerny is great as the lead architecture. I thought he was great, doing the PlayStation 4 architecture as well as the PlayStation 5. And the dev kits, he's even said that they've been out for a while. So I don't know why some of the supposed insiders were saying, oh, the PlayStation 5 dev kits aren't out. They are, because they, got feedback about wanting SSD, so they're doing a specialized SSD. But overall, I'm very excited to see more announcements regarding PlayStation 5. And it's going to be a beast system, and hopefully it's $400, but it's most likely $500, if not $450 next year. But I'm hoping for $400. That's going to be the sweet spot. They did amazing with the PlayStation 4. I believe in the first couple months, if not year, they did have a $100 loss on each PlayStation 4 being sold. So most likely that's going to end up happening with the PlayStation 5. But dude, I just saw the tweet from Xbox saying, that their press conference is going to be June 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And this is just moments, I believe, after the story about the PlayStation 5, which I just find that, funny that this story just broke too. It's just that Xbox just doesn't want Sony to have that W. But even though I think they got that W, and Microsoft still has a lot to prove regarding their next-gen system as well as their exclusives, because this generation for Xbox has been looking very lackluster. But guys, let me know what you guys thought about the PlayStation 5 specs. Are you guys ready? Did you just buy a PlayStation 4? Are you upset? Personally speaking, you guys gotta save that money. If not, just wait. Hope you guys are having a great day. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you guys can get updated when my videos go up. This is Red Hood 420 signing off.